to the Underwater Photography Show. I am Matthew Sullivan.
And I'm Alex Mustard.
And today we have Inspirational Instagram number 8. So these continue to be pretty popular. People send us messages and all that kind of stuff thanking us for being featured. My friend Gabe has thanked us for a kindly thrashing we put on one of his pictures in one of these. So we're not going to stop doing these anytime soon. And we have a brand new batch for you guys today.
Right, I have to read out the names, don't I? I volunteered for that long ago, mistakenly. And what's annoying is on my screen, they're always half hidden behind a load of thumbnail stuff. So the first one is by D. Slater Photo from Monterey in California of a lovely nudibranch on a kelp leaf with a kelp forest in the background.
Yep. Yeah, so I love close focus wide angle images, and this one I think is really well done. The nudibranch stands out beautifully, and it almost looks like that leaf and the nudibranch are superimposed on the kelp forest in the background, which it's not, but it kind of has that aesthetic, which I like. And I love just being able to see back through the stands of kelp. It's one of my favorite environments, so anytime I see a cool kelp forest picture, I'm immediately drawn to it, and it's a beautiful nudie as well.
Yeah, and there's a lovely quality of light on that foreground, isn't it? There's kind of almost glow from the nudie and from the leaf, and the background just complements it really, really well, creating a great feeling of three-dimensionality in the frame. Yeah. So yeah, and it's also, I think, a very good technique for this environment because Monterey is not known for its super clear water, and so close focus wide angle is a great way to go. But it's a very nice photo. I really like it. Okay, I'm going to move us on to number 2, which is again from the same area. Taken this one is by Underwater Pat, who I know we've featured before, who is a fantastic photographer of these conditions. And it got some amazing kelp water kelp forest images. And this looks like it looks like an Armenia slug, but I'm not sure. Definitely it's nudie though, isn't it?
It's a Navinax eating the same species that was in the previous picture.
Okay, now I understand what I'm looking at. Yeah. So
Navinax are voracious predators of other slugs and nudibranchs, and I've seen videos of them eating them, and it happens lightning quick. They just suck them up, which is cool for a slow-moving animal. But I've never quite seen a head-on picture of one with the head of the other slug still sticking out of its mouth. So that's a pretty cool behavior that I've not seen photographed like this before.
Yeah, it's really dramatic angle. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
And also with the, presumed snooted lighting as well, getting all that right with it to just pick this out from the surroundings. Very, very impressive. Yeah, really cool shot. Yeah, I didn't see all of that when I first looked at it. I was trying to figure out what species it was rather than looking at the details.
Yeah.
Yeah, really cool action. And the last moments of that slug as he is about to get slurped up. Yeah.
Slurping him up spaghetti.
Yeah, very cool though. And yeah, really, really nice shot. Okay, to the other side of the world now, or the other side of the Pacific at least, to a picture by Pietro Formis, and of a female ghost pipefish. She got some eggs there in her pouch, and she's swimming next to a wire coral.
Yeah, so I think a lot of people's instincts would be to just shoot this pipefish with just a black background and nothing else in it. But I love the fact that he included the whip coral in the bottom. It makes the frame more interesting, and it balances the pipefish really well. And it means you didn't have to have the pipefish center the frame. He can kind of offset it a little bit. And I'm colorblind, but it looks to me like they're the same color, which I also like, with the pipefish and the wire coral are the same color. And obviously the fact that she's fully splayed out with her tail, she has the eggs, and ghost pipefish are just amazing, amazing animals. And someday I'll see one that isn't black. So I would love to see one with some color on there, but we'll see.
Yeah, no, they're always a treat to see. And obviously because they have such a long-lived larval stage, a very widely dispersed species, you can see them right the way from the Red Sea across the Indian Ocean through Southeast Asia and out across the Pacific, at least as far as Central Pacific. So yeah, very, very, very cool species. Really nice shot. Yeah, I think it's just one of those simple and interesting graphic compositions. I always like, because ghost pipefish and seahorses are renowned for slightly turning away from the camera. I always like to see one just turning a bit more towards the camera, just because it shows it's like fully engaged with the photo. This one just feels to me like it's so parallel. I'd like it just slightly more coming onto the camera, just because as an underwater photographer, I know they're always just slightly turning away. Right. Now to M. Perez, 1589. And we're into freshwater now with these little minnows or something.
It's some sort of shiner, and of course, this is the one thing that I can't actually remember the name of. I think they're technically a roach species.
Oh, okay.
But I've never seen. You see a lot of scenes like this in the Smoky Mountains and the east coast of the U.S. This was when my friend Matt and a couple other people went up there and did it in the mountains of California. It's the first time I've seen this kind of photography of this kind of fish done out there. So it's really cool. And I love the fact that he used the slow shutter, so you get the river. You can kind of get a sense for how quickly the river is moving.
Yeah.
And it's a pretty chaotic place. And these are beautiful little fish that I'd never even heard of until they went and photographed them. And I think he did a really nice job with it.
Yeah, the fish are stunning. And the background stunning. I would say, as a critique of the image, I think if those fish were just 20% bigger in the frame, particularly that kind of main cluster, was just a little bit bigger, so you can really connect with them as a viewer, I'd say the picture would be absolutely stunning. As it is, I think the surface is beautiful, the setting is beautiful, the fish are beautiful, but the fish are just a little bit subtle in the frame. And I think just a little bit more of the fish, that would then, you would still be able to enjoy the setting and you'd really connect with them, because that kind of main cluster, they're just so beautiful. But yeah, I mean, like, ultimate kudos though for going out there, shooting something as beautiful as this that people hadn't shot before, and creating a really strong image from it. I was just,
and I believe it was a brutal hike to get there with all of their snorkel and camera gear too. So like you said, props to putting in the effort to go somewhere new and see something new and photograph something new.
Yeah, no, and also create a really great result as yeah, and I'd definitely get this into like a Californian photo contest or something.
Yeah.
Really blow people's minds. Very cool. Right, this is a photo of a young seal. I'm presuming it's a harbour seal, because the part of the world it's from, by John Anderson Photo.
Yeah, a good harbor seal encounter has been on my bucket list for so long. I've seen one in the water and it saw me and just went as fast as it could the other way. They're just adorable, and you see all the videos of them, and I know it's happened to you, of them tugging on fins and things like that. And I want that to happen to me so badly. And John got this one. I think he and our other friend Sage got this one, interacting with them maybe last month. And he has a whole series of images of this where it mashes its face right into his port and it's playing with fins and cameras and things like that. But this one's my favorite. You can see all the whiskers. I love the pose on each one of the flippers. They're easily defined, and it's looking right at him. Perfect portrait of an adorable little harbor seal.
It is really, really beautiful. I have a seal photo of a youngster that I took a long time ago, and I couldn't work out if it was a harbour seal or a grey seal. And I sent it to, and it looks just like this. And I sent it to a seal expert to get an ID on it, because I was just really struggling. And they said that it was a harbour seal. So I've put it into like stock as a harbour seal photo. But I've kind of got this sneaking suspicion that it was probably a grey seal. But it looks, I mean, like you couldn't distinguish it from this individual. So I can see where the confusions come down the years. And it's not as cute as this one, though. This guy with these whiskers, they're just amazing, and yeah, just so adorable. But I think, yeah, you'll have to next summer, when my life is a bit less upheaved, you'll have to come to the UK at some point and come and do some seals, because they're great days out. They're just fun. Not every day, the good thing is when the places we go in the UK is you'll always see seals. And then every few dives, you'll get that super magical encounter where one just really wants to play with you. And it's the most fun you can have underwater. I went with Eleonora many years ago, and she's not rough, tough cold water diver. She went in a semi-dry suit, and the back zip came undone, and she was having such a good time. She didn't even get cold, and there's not much to Eliel, so she can put up with it. So yeah, I'm really keen to go and do it again. I just the last few years I've been too busy to go, so yeah, seals are back up high on my priority list.
Good.
Yeah, pictures like this make me
really cool. Still a bucket list encounter for me.
Okay, so heading down to Australia now, from the look of the species in this picture, to Charles Davis Photography, a spider crab aggregation with something like a horn shark or a Port Jackson shark or something like that cruising over the top of them.
I think Port Jackson. Yeah. But this is so cool. Like, you not only do you have the massive spider crabs, but he managed to catch. And I don't know if they predate the spider crabs, but for the sake of the story or the sake of the image, you could pretend that it's a spider crab predator slowly swimming over top of them. And it's just a really cool composition. I like the fact that he centered it in the frame, and then the whole rest of the frame is spider crabs, and there's not an inch of empty space in there.
Yeah, no, I think it's very effectively done. I think works very well with the central composition, and I really like the shot. Very different, very cool. Yeah, really, really nice image. I think it's one of those ones. I don't know whether it's better the shark swimming up or swimming down, or whether it'd be better as a horizontal. For Instagram, I think this is a good choice of crop, but it could also be quite nice as a horizontal, I think.
And I know we've talked about this before, but I think that spider crab aggregation is where my limit would be of too many crabs, and I'm not sure I would be able to handle it all that well.
I've not photographed one for many years now, and I've never seen the one in Australia. But yeah, I've never really loved those dives, but I've always been happy to get the photos. So
yeah, for sure, photographically productive, but not necessarily enjoyable.
Yeah, and especially when we did them back in the UK, probably over 10 years ago now. No one had really shot them here, so it was also a great discovery. So I really like that. Okay, and moving on now. I haven't got an idea of if this is our last one or not.
Two more. This one and one more.
But this is by Bradley Photographic, and it's a lemon shark, and shot with a long exposure that I think is very effective, and especially so in black and white, because it just brings, as you'd expect from the photographer, it's so well processed, and to bring out that texture in the long exposure, I think it works really, really well. It's a very, very nice portrait of a lemon shark, and very special with those surface textures.
Yeah, it's like the whole frame is chaotic except for that one. That it seems like that lemon shark's face is frozen in time, and everything else is going on around it. And Jason's a master of this slow shutter stuff, and like you said, the processing to really emphasize its face and just the light in general, because he had to have lit that purposefully from the side like that with one strobe. Really, really well done. And I've been after this type of shark shot for a while, but Florida at the surface is almost always bright. So I'm going to have to need some ND filters or something to get something like this. But
I presume this is in the Bahamas. Is it in Florida or Bahamas? Do you remember?
I think this was Bahamas.
Yeah, and I think it's also there you can kind of stay in the water till closer to sunset as well.
Yeah.
Particularly if you're on one of the liverboards out there.
Yeah.
Which can help. But I also think the choice to, because I bet there was really nice colors in the sunset here, but I think the choice to put it into black and white, I think, has really helped the image, because it really draws your eye to those textures. That in color, it would be all about the color, and I think it's very effective in black and white.
I also love that the single strobe emphasizes all the teeth really well, so you get the shadow from each tooth cast to the side, which is really cool.
Yeah, very nice. Okay, we're now in the Red Sea, in the wreck of the Dunraven. At Beacon Rock, and this is a photo by Nick Moore UW of a lionfish cruising through in front of some glassfish inside the wreck.
So similarly to Jason, Nick's fantastic with the slow shutter work, and I love the fact that he has the kind of smeared, might not be the right word, but the smeary blue background in the background there. I think it adds and complements the lionfish really nicely, especially because the lionfish is a reddish orange, and that contrasts really well with blue. And obviously, if he had the lionfish and the bait and just the bait fish, it'd be a nice picture with a black background. But having the blue there, I think, really makes the picture. And well, it all works together, because if you had the blue background and no bait fish, it'd still be nice. Or if you had the bait fish and no blue background, it would be nice. But I think having the bait fish, having the red lionfish with the blue background, and like layered, works really well.
Yeah, and it's a surprisingly difficult shot to get this in the Dunraven. The Dunraven is an old shipwreck that's sunk upside down, and it's a cargo ship, so the hull is kind of empty. So it's a little bit like diving inside an upturned bathtub. And then every now and again, there's something like, filling up the bathtub, and then it opens out again. And where the wreck is broken in half and about 2/3 of the way up the wreck, which is where the light's coming in the background of this, you tend to get this gathering of glassfish there. And it's a really nice school of glassfish. And there's about a dozen lionfish that live around there. And you would think, given that opportunity, that you would be able to get lionfish in with the bait fish all the time there. But the lionfish, when they tend to spend most of their time actually being ambush predators and not swimming, but actually sticking themselves on the rocks and on the ceiling. So you go in there and you see all these lionfish everywhere, and you're kind of really worried about, bumping into one and getting stung or something. And you're just waiting for one to move, and they never move. They just sit there. And it's like, if you just went there for 1 second, I'd be gone. I just need you to swim in the middle. So, yeah, it's nice to see someone get a lionfish to pose pleasingly inside the Dunraven. Because they're nearly always sitting down with all their fins tucked in, as they often do during the day. I suppose we should go and dive it more in the evening, when they're probably more likely to be out predating. I never really thought to do this dive as a dust dive.
But then you might lose the light in the background unless you have.
Yeah, I think it's already a long exposure to get the blue to come through anyway.
Yeah.
You can get closer to the light than that, though, because you just move a little bit further forward with the wide angle lens, and that blue grows very quickly in the frame. But very cool. Is that the last one?
Yes. That is the last one. So I'm sure we'll have another one of these or several more of these relatively soon. But until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and we will catch you in the next one.